A very good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining Channel 1 today, the 12th of August 2021, a Thursday, and we are about to start, or rather we are starting BIZ Check. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now today on BIZ Check we'd like to have a discussion, but before that we will be taking you to the field during these 2 hours that are coming to just give you an update of what is going on around the country. Here we want to have a conversation about matters Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. What do you understand about buying Kenyan products so that we can build the Kenyan economy? This particular mantra was fronted by President Uhuru Kenyatta and his government to ensure that local enterprises are built and that the country's economy also just grows with the local enterprises. And to give us a perspective on this is Dr. Daniel Munene. He is an industrialist, DK Daniel Munene rather. He is an industrialist and a public policy analyst. Thank you for coming to KBC.
Thank you.
Let's just start right there. Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. What do you understand about it?
Buy Kenya, Build Kenya is that we first we manufacture our products and we use our products before we go to import anything else outside the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And what goes into these now?
Well, number one, I would say that if you go to Juakali, about 90% of the products we import can be manufactured locally. Mm-hmm. And there is that aspect of a competition. Mm-hmm. Competition sometimes is very unfair because when your product is finished and another one is imported, yours becomes more expensive. Mm-hmm. Because of high taxes. Mm-hmm. So what should be done is to lower the taxes so that we are able to compete with other products coming from outside.
Right. Yeah. The issue of taxation, the tax regime that there is right now, as you've mentioned, it makes our products a little bit less competitive than the imported goods.
Yes.
So what can the government do to better this situation?
Now, if we are importing some of the accessories that are used to manufacture the products you choose to, is to zero rate the taxes. It has happened before. If you remember, you have talked about this Uhuru Kenyatta's government encouraging people to manufacture products locally. Before, there was, during the NARC government, there was the zero rating of the manufacturing machines and farm inputs, like tractors. They were zero rated. We were only paying VAT, and you can see there was a big change. And again, when they zero rate, we also need to market. We also need the government to have that goodwill, and government being the biggest consumer of every product should encourage the local manufacturers.
I think when you talk about the government goodwill, there has been an extension of a handshake from the government on that end, considering that they listed some goods were gazetted that public institutions have to locally procure these locally available goods. So that is one step of it. Do you think it's working?
Well, it is. I would say it is there on paper, but it's not well implemented. What we need to do is to implement and campaign. Number one, people will have to like their products. You like what you make. You like the food you cook, and you eat it. Then from there, you are going to have the market and you're going to create employment.
Okay, for the producer, or rather the manufacturer, liking what they produce, there is also the recipient, the person who is buying, whether it's government or just the local Kenyans, purchasing these products. Competitively, do you think our products they meet the bar?
Our products meet the bar. Which do not meet the bar, there is room for improvement. But you cannot improve when you're not when you're not manufacturing, when you're not going on. That's why I'm saying it's better when we know that we first like our products, and we know before we go out there, we first get our products locally, and then if it's the person who is in the manufacturing, we have some other people doing the marketing. those people who do the marketing will give you the feedback. They'll tell you, okay, this table was made like this, you'd have done this, you correct this, because we improve by the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges that faces local consumption of locally made products is the perception, as you've put it.
Yes.
Some Kenyans believe, or there's a general belief, that imported goods are of better quality than locally made goods. What is your thought about that?
Actually, that is just a perception. It is not true. If you look like me, I make office furniture, and if you compare what is imported and what is made locally, ours, if I give you a desk, it will outlive you. You get a desk, it will look very, 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 very beautiful, but it is not long lasting. Yeah, so that is the perception we need to change.
Okay, and how is this perception going to be changed? Because it's clearly impacting the consumption of locally made goods.
I would suggest that if we can even come up with a forum of like-minded people who would actually campaign and market. We have the activities of marketing, so that people can accept what we have. And again, I want to go back to the government. If I look at the area I am in, the furniture, the furniture industry, there is a time that the government give directives that all government ministries should buy locally manufactured furniture. If it is implemented, we'll get somewhere. And
let's talk about, you've talked about the furniture issue. When we talk about agricultural products,
yes,
there is the problem of exporting a lot of raw materials and
yes,
importing value-added products. What do you think can be done to ensure that for Kenyans, they can access these locally made products, not just as raw materials, but the finished products?
What we need to do, that's the campaign I'm talking about. We see how we can educate people, make the machines available. See, an example of coffee. I had mentioned coffee or tea. If we have the best coffee in the world, a factory at a local place somewhere in Mount Kenya will sell for 100 shillings per kilo. It goes out, it is roasted there, it is packed, then it is sold over 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we could show them how to roast, we roast, and then we sell it to the market, we sell it locally, and we export when it is value added.
All right. Let's now bring in the voice of the Kenyans to this particular conversation. Our reporter Mwandiga in Coast is having a conversation, rather wants to have a conversation with some Juakali artisans. Mwandiga, tell us, what are they saying about the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative?
Well, good morning to you, Betty Kiptum. We are coming to you live from here in Sparky in Mombasa County. Of course, I am with Juakali artisans, and joining the topic today about Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. I'm here by engaging the Juakali artisans so that they will tell us on this issue about Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. Of course, people have been looking or going for imported goods other than locally manufactured goods, and many times they have their own reasons. But I'm here by joined by the Juakali artisans. Okay, they'll tell us why people should go for locally manufactured goods other than the imported goods and vis-a-vis. Karibu sana baba, niambie kwa majina unaitwa nani na kuhusiana na swala hili zima. Watu wanapenda sana kununua vitu ambavyo vimetoka ng'ambo, vimetengezwa tayari badala ya vitu ambavyo vimetengezwa hapa nchini. Hebu tueleze, unaweza kusema nini kuhusiana na swala hili? Tutakuwa natizama kamera.
Kule biashara yetu, biashara kwa jina anaitwa Daniel Njege na mkanjo hapa Juakali, chairman wa Juakali. Kitu inatuletea shinda hapa kama hiyo, hata vitu vile tunatengeneza hapa haiendi, na vitu tunaona vitu inaagiziwa kutoka kule nje inakuja na nunuliwa tena, hata inauzwa rahisi kuliko ile ambayo tunauza hapa. Kazi yetu ni kama imelala. Kwa hivyo tungeomba pia kama tunaweza kufunguliwa mahali, tunaweza kupeleka mali yetu kama ni huko nje ambao tunaweza pia kuuza hata kwa bei ambao tunaweza kupata kitu, ingekuwa ni rahisi. Hiyo ingine ni biashara yetu wakati wa corona inaonekana imeenda chini kabisa. sababu ya corona, na tukupata pia vile watu walikuwa tunachikia watu wanashahidiwa, tukupata wadhamini ambao watu ambao wangetusaidia hapa Jua Kali. Hivyo tumefanya kazi na jina mpaka saa hii biashara yetu iko chini. Hiyo ingine kwa sababu ya material yetu ile tunanunua iko ghali sana. Kitu kama wakati tunanunua mali na nunua kule kibada hapa tunauzwa kama mara mbili ya ile ambayo tungekuwa tunapata kitu. Kwa hivyo tunaomba pia hiyo pia tukipata hiyo na baadhi ya kununua kule kwa ni vizuri sana.
Naam, asante sana. And I'm also by joined by one of the other artisans who will just give out or put into perspective this whole issue. Kaka, ununuzi wa hizi vitu kutoka nje watu wanavipendelea sana na nyinyi mnafanya biashara huku. Je, hali iko namna gani kwa sasa?
Kwa majina naitwa Saveri Onyaga. Mimi ni mkaanji wa hapa wa kufanya biashara. Na waomba pia Wakenya wetu wale tunachagua kina rais, tunaomba wanakaribia hapa kutusalimia kwa sababu tunawapenda na tuoni msaada wote kutoka kwao.
Tuzungumzie swala kuhusiana na ununuzi wa vitu. Watu wanapenda kununua vitu kutoka ng'ambo badala ya vitu ambavyo viko locally manufactured. Nyinyi kama wenye biashara hapa, mngependa kuambia nini Wakenya kuhusiana kwamba na vitu vinavyotengenezwa humu nchini? Maana wengi wanapenda vitu kutoka ng'ambo, hawajawahi kuexplore hii biashara yenu.
Hii biashara yetu tunapenda tu kupunguliwa biashara za kupeleka nje. Tukipeleka nje inanunuliwa na watu wa Greta kutoka nje tunanunua. Pia kama vile mwenzangu amesema, material iko juu sana na hatuna uwezo wa kuchukua factory kwa material kwa sababu material iko juu vile mwenzangu amesema, na waomba hapa tu tusaidiwe na hiyo material ndio biashara yetu iendelee.
Now, okay, thank you so much. And last but not least, I'll be joined by one of the mzees here. Karibu sana mzee, karibu tu hapo uweze kuelezea. Naam, biashara hii, ununuzi wa mali hapa nchini ni kwamba wengi wanapendelea vitu vya kutengenezwa kutoka ng'ambo badala vitu vya kuwa locally manufactured. Nyinyi kama mnaotengeneza vitu hapa, mnaweza kulinganisha vipi bidhaa za kutoka nje? Maana wengi wanasema za nje hazidumu ingawaje zinauzwa kwa bei ya chini. Je, kuhusiana na vitu mnavyotengeneza hapa, durability, unaweza kuambia nini Wakenya kuhusiana na mali ya kutoka humu nchini?
Kulingana na zile vitu ambavyo tunatengeneza hapa ni vitu ambavyo zinachukua muda kukaa, durability yake ni muda mrefu ukilinganisha na zile vitu ambavyo zinatoka nje. Kwa mfano unaweza nunua kama karaya hapa, na hiyo karaya utatumia kwa miaka 5, miaka 6, na zile ambazo zinatoka nje haidumu kama mwaka moja imeisha. Sasa kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba tu ya kwamba tupatie material. Shida ni material na soko. Kwa maana material utapata na mali pa kuuza hakuna, au ukipata soko hakuna material. Kwa maana sisi tunatumia locally manufactured material. Sasa shida zetu sana ni material ukilinganisha na miaka za nyuma. Maana hii kazi tumekaa kwa muda mrefu, lakini vile tunaendelea inazidi kuzorota kabisa, biashara inazidi kudidimia, hatupati kitu. We are just working from hand to mouth, ambapo huwezi hata kuelimisha mtoto kutokana na hii kazi za saa hii. Alafu ya pili, tangu corona iingie hii kazi imeenda ikazama kabisa, ambapo usaidizi wetu utatoka kwa serikali ili tusaidie kupata material. Material ndio shida.
Asante sana. Well, you have heard it from the horse's mouth. The big issue is that here people prefer prefer imported goods to locally manufactured goods. But there's a case of durability. The issue of durability, the locally manufactured goods, they are durable. But one thing that they are complaining that their products are of high price is because of the materials they're getting to manufacture these goods. They say that they're buying them at a very high price, and that's why whatever they're manufacturing here locally, it has to be of higher price, but it is durable. That's all we have for now for this great conversation of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. And from Sparky in Mombasa County, back to you, Betty Kiptum.
Basa just talking to some Jua Kali artisans about the consumption of locally made goods and what they are going through, the challenges they are going through. They have mentioned the lack of market as well as the high cost of input materials, the challenges that those Jua Kali artisans are going through. And here we are having that conversation with Daniel Munene, an industrialist and public policy analyst. Munene, you have listened to those Jua Kali artisans, their concerns. What do you have to say about that, and how can the government ensure that this high cost of input materials, to be specific, is reduced?
Actually, to encourage them to continue to manufacture, they have just mentioned that the high cost of the material, because in any business you do, you start making profit when you're buying. If you save from buying, then you'll be competitive.
Yes.
Now the problem is, if you buy the material at a high cost, then you'll not be competitive. If other products are brought from outside, people will opt to go for what is cheapest.
Yes, and when you talk, in fact, that point you've just mentioned, that people will opt to go for the cheapest. Yes, the government wants to drive this consumption of locally made goods, but the price points of locally made goods are still higher than the imported ones. There is a problem there that needs to be sorted out, right?
Yeah, that problem is by zero rating or bringing the taxes down. If you are the raw materials, those raw materials which are coming from outside, if you lower them, then the product will be competitive in the market. Yeah.
Do you think that Kenyan products are branded and packaged for the local market as well?
Some of them are. You know, the big players do that. But now, if you want to revolutionize the economy, you have to take the activities to the grassroots. Like those people who are talking there, those people, listen to them. What is the problem? Because they can produce anything that is imported, but make sure that what do you do to bring the prices down is to lower the taxes.
Lowering the taxes.
Yes.
You've mentioned that it's the bigger players that do this, and the focus should be on the small and medium enterprises, right?
Yeah.
Because this is really what keeps the economy going.
Yes. Yeah, actually, this is thing where I talk about implementation. You know, this is not something new. It has been there even when we were young, when we started business. There was that, you will remember, the district focus for rural development. When we were, you know, when President Moi wanted to discourage rural, you know, to urban migration. That was the idea, but the implementation was not very good. If it is done that way, you don't see why you should be coming to leaving the rural to urban. Yeah.
It should not really be a question. It should not be it should be easy for the Kenyan to choose the locally made goods.
Yes.
But the way things are, for instance, eggs that come from Uganda are cheaper than eggs that are produced locally, considering every other risk, the transport cost, the losses that are made on the way transporting these eggs. Eventually, even with all that considered, that egg made in Kenya, or rather produced in Kenya, is still more expensive.
Yes.
Right? So what can be done to enable these farmers, especially the agricultural sector, to improve, or rather for Kenyans to consume more from the local sector?
So bottom line, same thing we are saying. Okay, if the animal feeds are expensive, then, because you see, you look at input and output. If you're going to invest, in poultry farming, you look at, okay, how much have I put here for me to sell the eggs? Why am I not competitive? Why am I not competing with Uganda? The market is there. The market is big. But now, the animal feeds are more expensive here. That's why I'm saying the government should look at that. What should they do? What is this Ugandans are doing that we are not doing? Because we should be exporters also. Yeah.
Right. Remember, you are watching BIZ Check here on KBC Channel 1. We are discussing the local consumption of locally made goods. That is the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative. You can interact with us on Twitter at Betty Kiptum is my personal Twitter handle, at KBC Channel 1 as well. And the hashtag is Business Check. We are having this discussion on matters local consumption of locally made goods. And we are with Daniel Munene. Munene, what is the advantage of the local consumption of locally made goods? What is the advantage of this to the economy?
Number one, when you have your own products, you grow the economy because there is no money going out. You create employment. You look at places like countries like China. If you go to China, you see, you know, they have small industries in villages. And those people, everybody is making money, and that's why China has become big. You know, they call them cottage industries. There are cottage industries everywhere. You go to the smallest village. They are producing what they are producing in that particular area. They add value, and then they take it to the market. Yeah.
All right, and let's talk about the research and development. How do you think Kenya is faring on that front?
Well, as I told you before, when we look at the papers are very good. You look at what we are doing. The biggest problem is implementation. Yeah.
All right. So now let's talk about the legal framework. The legal framework that is going to enable the business environment to grow. What are your thoughts about that?
I do not think we have a problem with when it comes to, let's say, registration, because people are being educated every day. Like the Juakali people who are talking there, nowadays they know how that they can do their returns. They can do, and like they were not doing it before. So that would not be a problem when we are coming to legalize the businesses.
All right. And matters of illicit trade, it's quite a challenge that is facing this sector. A lot of manufactured goods, the black market that there's counterfeit as well. How do you think the government should tackle these problems? Because it is taking away from the manufacturers who are doing genuine work, who are going through the genuine channels and giving us good products. But Kenyans just have access to these counterfeit goods that are probably cheaper than the good materials, the good products that are made. So how can the government tackle this?
Actually, when you make it difficult for people to get the genuine parts or genuine goods, that is when they go to counterfeit. And what the government also should do is that, like we have the KEBS, the Kenya Bureau of Standards, they should keep on checking, and we should also make things not very difficult for the people, especially manufacturers. Yeah, we should actually, for a country to grow, we should know that we are growing, and we should look at what parameters we are supposed to follow. All
right. Yeah. We now want to give you a breakdown of the furniture business in Kenya. Our reporter Caroline Jenga filed the following report. Take a look.
Is valued at 120 billion shillings, and trade in the region is worth 29.8 billion shillings. Kenya is the largest producer of furniture in East Africa. Due to rising population and rapid urbanization in Kenya, the office and home accommodation furniture business is proving to be a lucrative venture. For years, the local furniture industry has remained stagnant, with more Kenyans preferring imported high-end furniture for home and office use from Far East. But that is now changing thanks to a combination of factors. Local furniture manufacturers have upped their game with quality and innovative products. With new and cost-effective technology being muted every day, combined by the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative, the furniture industry has been growing at a double-digit rate as more Kenyans consume their own products. Small and medium enterprises like Bukon Furniture, who sell custom-made office furniture, are quickly cashing in on the soaring demand. Bukon Furniture has invested more than 20 million shillings in a state-of-the-art plan to help increase production. With a workforce of 30 people and new technology, the firm has the capacity to make 200 banquet chairs and 100 desks.
Wale watu wenye tunategemea sana ni government. Maybe that June and July.
In the SME sector,
Hiyo ndio peak time ya mahali kama hapa. Sasa hapo we can do the maximum that I'm talking about 100 desks per day, and we deliver them. But off-peak seasons ni kama saizi venye tumetoka hiyo mwaka ya serikali. Very little. Juu unapata labda ni watu individual ndo wanachukua sasa. The COVID issue and maybe the year before 2013.
However, the company, which has been in existence for decades, has faced its own fair share due to increased competition and disruption caused by COVID-19 pandemic.
The business was affected since now we couldn't supply to offices, we couldn't supply to many, the traders, most traders were cancelled, most LPOs were cancelled, especially from our main clientele who are our suppliers. But we still were able to stay afloat during the COVID season. And
Bukon Furniture manager Neta Mwangi says cheap furniture imported from Asia is a major challenge to their business.
Competition is there because as much as we are encouraging the local furniture, there are still companies, and especially now that the Chinese have been allowed to import, they are the manufacturers in their own country, but they are also coming to supply in our country. We've given them the leeway to come and sell their own products in our country.
High cost of production, high cost of energy and raw materials has made locally made goods expensive and less competitive. To spur up demand for Kenyan-made furniture, Ms. Mwangi says the government needs to introduce tougher tax measures on imported furniture and enforce the 70% rule on the purchase of locally made furniture.
They increase too much taxes, and that makes the local manufacturing, there be a push and pull. But we encourage that they encourage us with reduction in taxes so that we are able to produce better and more durable goods.
The firm has installed a pneumatic system that uses gas or pressurized air to move cylinders, motors, or other mechanical parts used in making furniture. The pneumatic system relies on a constant supply of compressed air to make them work. Mwangi says with proper policies in place, the local furniture makers have the potential to support the domestic and regional markets.
Yes, business is slowly picking up. Not yet where we are because now COVID is still being controlled, but at least with now people being back to offices and taking the right precautions to protect themselves from COVID, we've been able now at least to pick up slowly, and we believe it will get better by time.
Caroline Jenga for BIZ Check.
Caroline Jenga there with that report on the furniture business in Kenya. Quite a number of issues coming up. The high cost of energy, high cost of inputs, the China imports or imports from the Asian market, as well as the 70% locally made furniture quota not being met. Munene, you are a furniture manufacturer. Do you relate with this?
Yes, I started making furniture over 30 years ago. And the challenge is actually, as the lady says there, is that when we are importing, we import from China, and now we have Chinese importing, and they're in Kenya. Now you can see how the competition is. That's why we keep on campaigning for local furniture. If we can come up with our own products, because our products are better. Our products are better because they use MDF. Here we have solid wood, and solid wood actually will stay for years. But it's the Chinese furniture. If you move your office to other offices, maybe about 40% of the furniture will be spoiled. You know.
All right. And what would you rather the government do to support the local furniture manufacturers?
Yeah, as I said before, government is the biggest consumer in any country. If the government supports the local industry, the industries will grow. Yeah.
All right. And let's talk about the government supporting in terms of now the monetary side of things, the money side of things. The manufacturers have often complained of the delayed tax refunds that end up impacting their, fiscal abilities and the ability to continue producing with limited cash. What is your take on that?
Actually, when the government is supporting the manufacturers, they should also look at those administrative issues, because when you have some money to be paid from the government, you have nothing you can do. Even when you have your bid boards being held, you cannot have them in time again, and maybe those bid boards you had taken from the bank, it is also hurting that local manufacturer. So there are things that can be done. because they are done even in other countries.
All right.
So, yeah.
We have to appreciate that when COVID-19 hit the country last year, the manufacturing sector took up quite a strong place in terms of ensuring that there is production of goods that can, supply the market that there is in Kenya, considering that imports were impacted. How have you seen these? How have you seen these impacting the production as well as the consumption?
During during this COVID time, it has not been easy. It has not been easy on anybody, because even manufacturers did not have the outlets. Most of the outlets were closed, so they reduced maybe the workers, and the production went down.
All right. We'd like to take a quick break here on Business Biz Check. We shall be getting back to you with more on this Buy Kenya, Build Kenya conversation. Stay with us.
De una forma diferente, de otro modo.
This man is my father.
There were other ways to take Max out of our plans. If you had informed me of what you wanted to do, I would never have approved that you blamed your brother for a man's murder.
Hello, Ceci. Good afternoon.
Yvonne, what are you doing here?
Liana, don't tell me you two are accomplices.
Because we are. Amaya is not what she has been pretending to be. She is the victim in all this mess.
Mr. Maximiliano Montesinos will be charged and detained. He will be sent to the penitentiary, where he will await his trial and be sentenced by a judge.
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente. De otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
Hayawi huwa mbiu ya mgambo imelia, na kwa kawaida ikilia kuna jambo.
Mgambo uliopo hapa ni rumba kavacha, odemba na sukus.
Tutakupromoshea midundo motomoto ya Afrika, iwe kutoka kaskazini, kusini, magharibi na hata mashariki.
Rumba is here in your living room.
Na popote ulipo.
This is Bridge of Congo.
Nzambe ya sambe la kati, ako sambe la nani.
Right here on KBC Channel 1. We.
I just want to repay your kindness for saving my life before.
No need to thank me. Who is she?
Well, Master, this lady tried to break in with a group of men.
Why did you bring her inside?
Father, you're finally here to see me.
You remembered your mother's death anniversary. Thought you'd forget.
Mother gave me life.
Though the Crown Prince has drunk the wine with the poison, the toxins won't be activated until the poison on His Majesty's clothes comes in contact with it.
Your Majesty, the servants from his palace have all been arrested.
This week, the spotlight is on Ben Soul, the face of soul generation.
Lucy, I love you.
The artist is a multi-instrumentalist, talented songwriter, and soulful singer. The versatile musician has hit singles like Lucy, Forget You, favorite song under his belt.
I love you like the sunshine in the morning when I'm yawning, like the scent of love.
Catch Ben Soul on Easy Friday at 9:45 p.m. with Shiksha Aurora only on KBC Channel 1.
Kuna rumba ya bunge ya majambazi, ukileta ujinga utalala ndani. Kuna rumba for all you niggas, lakini rumba Japani.
Many thanks for staying with us here on KBC Channel 1. You are watching BIZ Check. My name is Betty Kiptum and Byron Abuli is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Now, before we went on break, we were talking about the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative, the push to ensure that locally manufactured or produced goods and services as well are consumed by Kenyans locally. And just what is impacting this particular initiative, how is government ensuring that there is increased consumption as well as the challenges that there are. And we have been talking to Daniel Munene. He is an industrialist and public policy analyst. We would like to now talk about second-hand imports, quite a big problem in the manufacturing sector or the market sector, the market access for locally manufactured goods. Munene, what is your view about the second-hand imports? Should Kenya stop it?
For our economy to grow, we should stop imported goods. Like if you talk about clothes, there are so many factories that were there and they closed down because Kenya became a dumping ground for those second-hand clothes. But for those factories to thrive, we have to put measures of what are we going to import? Are we going to stop it? If we stop it, look at our need. Are we able to, to satisfy the market? The answer, I would say yes, because we have been doing this before we had the Mutumbas and other things. Yeah.
When you talk about satisfying the market, of course there's satisfying the market in terms of the quantity, also satisfying the market in terms of the pricing of these particular goods. When you talk about the locally made products, especially the cotton products or clothes, so to say, most Kenyans will go for second-hand clothes because they are cheaper and they last longer than the locally made goods. What do you think should be done to ensure that the quality of the Kenyan made goods matches or even is better than the imported ones, but at the same time affordable to the mwananchi?
Well, everything goes back to the taxation. For a product, and I mentioned that when you are making profit, when you want to make profit in any business you do, you start from buying the material you're buying. How much is it, and for it to compete with what has been brought from outside. That is what we should look at, because some of the things, if it is things like cotton, cotton farmers are not farming anymore because they don't have market, because the factories closed.
Okay.
So, but why do those factories, why are they not able to survive? They are not able to survive because when you produce a product, you are not going to be competitive because of the high taxes you pay.
Okay.
Yeah. So bottom line is taxes. We look at the taxes.
All right. Let's talk about the revival of that particular cotton industry in a little bit. Daniel Munene, a public, or rather An industrialist and a public policy analyst is with us here in studio, and we have been talking about this topic. Munene, you have had Kisumu residents, as well as Mombasa residents. Earlier they spoke the same problems: price point, high cost of inputs, as well as perception. What do you think about this?
What we should do is to strengthen the KBS, that we produce good quality, very high quality. And again, the imported, like Mutuba, they were talking about it from Kisumu, the taxes should be higher so that we can be able to secure our market. Otherwise, if they are very cheap, you have heard what those people saying, okay, if you're given one item, one goes for 100 shillings, another one for 200 shillings, and the economic situation is not very good, one will opt to go for the cheapest.
Definitely.
But for you to control that, you can increase other taxes and lower others. And especially if you want for the local market to survive, you have to lower the taxes for the products that are coming, or taxation. Let's talk about general taxation. If it is okay, then we will be able to compete.
All right. They talked about the second-hand goods, the second-hand imports, and it's funny that even the lady who was selling the brand-new clothes said that the second-hand goods are better. She's even speaking against her own product that she's selling, which is quite a problem. We were talking about the revival of the cotton industry before we joined the Kisumu residents there. Could you just continue giving us that overview of how this market, the clothes market specifically, can be revived to ensure that the locally made clothes are better and affordable to Kenyans?
Actually, we have to, for us to change that perception, we have to make the material that we're making the local products cheaper, available, and then we increase the taxes of the imported ones so that our market is not killed. Because you see, it is very unfortunate when somebody is talking against your own product, then you're saying that you better have what is coming from outside. You can see how desperate we are.
Right. And you talked about the importance of selling finished goods. The cotton, we will produce it locally. Of course, there are moves by the government to ensure that cotton production reaches the high that it was in the 80s. And once that is produced, ensuring that that cotton is turned into the finished clothes, the finished shoes and all that Kenyans can use these products instead of now having to import clothes made from Kenyan grown cotton, but have to import them either way. What are your views on that?
Is to revive those factories. When you revive the factories, everything will be homemade. Because if you have cotton and you have the market, then
Okay. So as we now bring this conversation to a close, ensuring that Kenyans are purchasing locally made goods, what would be your call to the government as we bring this conversation to a close, as well as your call to Kenyans?
Oh, yes. Actually, what I would say is that we make sure that we take the economic activities to the grassroots, so that everybody becomes a player. And we also form, I would like us, if we could form a forum of like-minded people to implement and campaign for the products for the products that we produce.
All right. And that means ensuring that awareness is created, right? Who is supposed to make sure that Kenyans are aware of this?
I would say me and you. We start from me and you.
Yes.
And then the people also in leadership. It should be okay when we have some people people in leadership. They should campaign for this. They should see how can we take the activities to the ground, economic activities to the ground, is by ensuring if you go to the youth. Like now, the biggest population here is youth, because they're energetic and they're there. If you look at there is even youth fund, which sometimes is not properly utilized because some of the people do not even know what to do. Now, if we start by cottage industries, so you go to a certain area, there's somebody is coming from, is producing, let's say if it is your place, if you grow maize, instead of having maize coming all the way from your place, coming to Nairobi, is sifted here, it is taken back there. If we can add value, you know, that I think that will improve our industrialization.
Right, value addition, very important.
Value addition,
All right, thank you very much, Munene, for having this conversation with us.
Thank you.
Well, that was Daniel Munene. He is an industrialist and public policy analyst, and we have been talking about the move to ensure that locally made goods as well as services provided locally are consumed locally under the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative by the President Uhuru Kenyatta and his administration. Quite some efforts being put there to ensure that the government institutions are purchasing locally made goods as well as just pushing this mantra to Kenyans. Do you buy locally, and what has been your experience? Share that with us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1 at Betty Kiptum. We shall be sampling some of your views during this particular program. For now, BizCheck takes a quick break. We shall be coming back with a conversation on matters of the livestock industry. You want to stay with us.